Well, welcome. We're back again. Now let's take a look at the big picture here. What is the big picture, ladies and gentlemen? The big picture is the small picture. Now you might be saying to yourself, what in the world are you even talking about? What am I talking about? It's quite simple. Patreon. And this is for you only. Okay? Ray J was getting tapped from the back. And that was what everyone was saying. And this started early on in his career. He was somebody who went through the same things as Raz B. Apparently. He was protected by his parents early on, but he started getting approached when he became a young teen. And they start keeping him closer and closer to Brandy. Like, keep your brother close to you because these industry pedophiles were trying to take advantage. As he became a man, his sexuality was in question when he and Raz B ran into each other. You see, the problems always ensue and they come, directly head on when everybody runs into the same scenario. They run into a scenario in which they have to defend or atone for something that they themselves don't really believe. So, as we see in today's time, everyone has an opinion about something, especially Ray J. But Ray J, his problem is money. He'll do anything for money. He don't care if it's sleeping with somebody. He just don't care. He's gonna do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Now, when you start looking at all of these different people that come around, you start to notice certain things. These executive producers, these program directors, like for BET, all of these people have made advances and preyed on the young, the weak, etc. Now, what did happen yesterday? When Ray J made that statement. When he made that statement, he was speaking out his ass because he wants to do business with these people. And Stephen Fryman, right? This guy was looked at as the big cheese of MTV. In case you don't know, MTV and VH1 are the same thing. Many people don't understand that, but when Stephen Fryman was in charge, they were the same thing. So when you start looking at people who were in in connections with MTV and all of the VH1s, which is tied together, to do business with them, you had to move in a certain way. And when Stephen Friedman, I don't know if I said Fryman, but it's Friedman, abruptly left, the next guy that came and followed him left for the same reasons. Now, Fryman came and he wanted to take Ray J out to dinner. He wanted to talk and negotiate late nights. And a lot of these things were very aggressive. So when all of these moves were made, people were talking about, oh man, what's going to happen now? His replacement lasted 1 year and he was gone for the same acts, alleged acts. So this is telling you that this industry is controlled by predators. Now, if this industry, is controlled by predators, and Ray J didn't know he was being recorded when he was speaking with Ray J didn't know he was being recorded when he was speaking with Raz B, and those recordings came out, and it clearly understated what was happening when he was trying to relate to the situation, because he called Marcus Houston immediately, because Marcus Houston is a friend of his. And he said he was very shocked to find out that Marcus didn't say anything. Now, Chris Stokes is apparently the other guy that is going to be the one, right? Chris Stokes, Ray J, B2K, they were all connected. Omarion and Ray J, great friends. So, Bow Wow, same scenario. All of these guys were connected, except Ray J, he was hanging out more with Suge Knight and Death Row. Bow Wow was hanging out more with Snoop and those guys. Even though Ray J is like, man, Snoop, you my cousin, man. What's going on? Ray J was out there wilding. So by the time he got into the Chris Stokes scene and hanging out with BTK, he knew Raspy and them, and he didn't know what they were going through with Chris, because he knew Chris too. So for him, it was a mystery. Now, did him and Chris Stokes have something going on? I don't know. But Sean Atkins came in and replaced Friedman. And when Sean Atkins came in, immediately there were claims inside of the building about him, and he up and took another job. All of these guys up and take jobs immediately. They get out. Why is that job such a hot seat? 1 year, he was out of the company. And now it's time for the new one. So Doug Herzog, the German, who oversees these decisions, what is the quality that comes along with it? That he keeps overseeing all creative and business operations. It's all of these different things they have in place. It's crazy. Now, Viacom announced VH1, Chris McCarthy is going to be in charge of both. So it's a revolving door over there. But what do we know about McCarthy? Nothing. Now, Ray J, do you want to talk about what Deborah Lee allowed to happen over there? Or should I? Hmm? Do we need to go into Scotty Mills? Do we need to talk about Scotty Mills? Oh, he's Scott Mills now. I'm sorry. Scott Mills. Do we need to go down that road? They cost Deborah Lee her job. Deborah Lee cost herself her job because she turned a blind eye and acted as if she didn't know what was going on. As she remains a chairman and CEO. Well, I mean, not CEO, but she remained a chairman. And now Scott Mills has to take her place because she allowed way too many things to go wrong there with harassment. Um, a lot of Tyler Perry cast members and people who was coming in there. These claims that was happening under her watch were being ignored. Now, what does this have to do with Ray J? Ray J was supposed to do some work on BET. That didn't happen. Abruptly, negotiations didn't happen for a show Ray J wanted to produce. It ended up going to VH1 and MTV. After Ray J complained, literally complained about the abuse he was going through over there with VH1, to the harassment, sexually harassment, and other people who were involved, such as the BET programmer, former programmer rather, who was the head of all the controversy, who put all these people on the back burner. Well, what Ray J was trying to pitch was a show between let's say they were trying to put together a group of like a show, just a relationship show with him and Princess at the time. So when they wanted to do that show, they had a bunch of people who were in charge over there who really shouldn't have been in charge. And you start seeing people who shouldn't be in Hollywood, like the people who are not what they call force sensitive into the situation. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that they didn't know what was going on, but Stephen Hill, they knew his situation already. And he was very aggressive towards African American men and trying to push them into embarrassing themselves or threatening their careers if they didn't sleep with him. Or if they said no to him, he would basically tarnish their careers. And there's male actors in this game that were on BET that won't come forward, that Stephen Hill has a very long list of doing damage to these people in their lives. They're not going to come forward. But, Ray J, you hung out with Stephen Hill before, president for BET at the time. And this was back in, I would say, the early 2000s. You had a promo for you were going to be on BET show, and they wanted you to go to the after party. You were getting ready to promote an album. And Stephen Hill was there because he was the president of music programming. Now, others know you're not the only one. You hung out with Stephen Hill. That is factual. You were at that party. You sat at his table. I'm not saying did you go home with him and everything else, but Stephen Hill treated you like a star. Treated you like a star. And not once did we hear anything bad about the situation intact. You was his mans. You was at Spring Bling with Stephen Hill. kept bringing you back. Stephen Hill. Stephen Hill. Now, I can't say what happened. You were there, and you were there a lot of times hanging out with Stephen Hill. So, you tell me, what's up with you and Stephen Hill, man? Explain that to the public. You ain't want me to go down the black hole with you. It's very easy to do. We know these people and what their acts are and what they do in Hollywood and how they move. Now, what we don't understand is why people are being prohibited. Now, I'm going to get out of here. Now, y'all tell me what y'all want to do later on, but as of right now, Casino is out.